The burglars quietly entered Jack Thompson's house, but what they saw in the light of their flashlights froze them. Marine medals on the walls, military photos, and from behind them, a calm voice. "Gentlemen, you picked the wrong house." That moment changed the lives of 3 young burglars forever, because Jack wasn't just a 72-year-old retired man. He was a Marine who had fought in the world's toughest places for 30 years. Welcome to Untold Between Us. Before we tell this story, let us know in the comments what city you're watching from, and if you believe stories like this deserve to be remembered, hit subscribe. Because real heroes never become ineffective, even when retired. The Thompson house in Philadelphia's Manayunk neighborhood was quiet at 10:30 p.m. A small, tidy suburban home. Well-maintained yard, door always locked, relationship with neighbors distant but courteous. Jack Thompson was a 72-year-old retired Marine. Medium height, gray hair, slightly stooped but still strong posture. In the evenings, he watched television, read books, went to bed early. He lived a simple life, bothering no one. In the neighborhood, they knew him as the Quiet Man. He'd lived in the same house for 15 years, living alone after losing his wife Margaret 5 years ago. He shopped, tended his garden, attended veterans meetings. Tonight, Jack was in his living room, as always, reading a military history book. The television was off, only the reading lamp was on. At 11 p.m., he was preparing to close his book and go to the bedroom. He didn't know that outside, 3 young men were watching his house. Tyler Martinez, 19, Kevin Brooks, 21, and Danny Chen, 20. 3 young burglars had been watching Jack's house for weeks. Old man, alone, quiet neighborhood, perfect target. "Look, old man goes to bed at 11, said Tyler, their leader. "No alarm system, no dog, easy target." Kevin was a bit worried. "Man, I don't like robbing old people." "Relax," said Danny. "We go in, take some cash, jewelry, electronics. Old dude probably sleeps through it." They didn't know Jack's background either. They just thought he was an old, lonely man. But Jack Thompson's story was very different. At 11:30 p.m., Jack had gone to bed. The house was dark. Only the street lamp gave dim light. Tyler signaled to his friends. Showtime. They entered through the backyard window, quietly, skillfully. Tyler had done this many times. The 3 burglars entered Jack's living room. They were searching for valuables, scanning the area with their flashlights. "Check the TV stereo," Tyler whispered. "Danny, you go upstairs, check for jewelry." But when Kevin's flashlight beam swept toward the wall, what he saw froze him. Hanging on the wall, Bronze Star, Purple Heart, Combat Action Ribbon, military medals arranged in rows. "Guys," Kevin whispered, "look at this." Tyler and Danny also turned their flashlights. Military photos on the walls, young Jack in uniform, with soldier friends, in war zones. "Oh shit," said Danny, "this guy's military." But it was too late, because from behind them came a calm, cold voice. "Gentlemen, you picked the wrong house." When the 3 burglars turned around, they saw Jack at the top of the stairs. He was wearing pajamas, but his posture was completely different. He was no longer an old, weak man. He was a warrior. "Don't move," Jack said, his voice calm but commanding. "Put your hands where I can see them." Tyler panicked. "Old man, we don't want trouble. Just give us your money and we'll leave." Jack smiled. "Son, you already found trouble. Question is, how much trouble do you want?" Kevin and Danny exchanged nervous glances. Jack was just an old man. There were 3 of them. But what they saw in Jack's eyes unsettled them. "I said hands up," Jack said, his voice hardening. Tyler pulled out his knife. "Look, Grandpa, we're not scared of you. Just back off." Jack shook his head. "Wrong choice, son." And at that moment, 30 years of Marine training kicked in. Jack moved toward Tyler. Despite being an old man, his movements were precise and determined. Tyler attacked with the knife, but Jack grabbed his arm, pressed the pressure point on his wrist. Ah! Tyler's hand opened. The knife fell to the floor. Kevin ran at Jack, but Jack sidestepped, used Kevin's momentum to send him crashing into the coffee table. Danny tried to run, but Jack blocked the door. "Where you going, son?" Please, man, we're sorry, Danny yelled. Jack got all three under control. Tyler's arm twisted, Kevin on the floor, Danny in the corner. Now, Jack said, breathing hard but calm, we're going to have a conversation. Jack tied all three with zip ties. Then he called the police. Philadelphia police? This is Jack Thompson, 1247 Maple Street. I have 3 intruders in my home. They're secure, no immediate danger. While waiting for police, Jack seated the 3 young burglars in the living room. They were trembling with fear. You want to know who I am? Jack said, pointing to the medals on the wall. Staff Sergeant Jack Thompson, United States Marine Corps, 30 years of service, 3 tours in Vietnam, 2 in Iraq, 1 in Afghanistan. Tyler couldn't speak. Kevin was crying. You see this? Jack lifted his shirt, showing the deep scar on his chest. Saigon, 1969. 3 Viet Cong soldiers cornered me in a bunker, just like you 3 cornered me tonight. Danny's eyes widened. What happened? I was 22 years old, Jack said. Younger than you, scared, alone, outnumbered. But I had something you don't have. What? Kevin asked. Training? Discipline? And most importantly, Jack looked into his eyes, I was fighting for something bigger than myself. Jack told the story of his wound. Single-handed fight with 3 enemy soldiers, getting wounded, saving his buddies. Courage, sacrifice, and victory. Those 3 enemy soldiers, Jack said, they thought they had an easy target too. Young American, alone, scared. But they learned something that night, just like you're learning now. What's that? Tyler asked, his voice hoarse. That you never judge a book by its cover, Jack said. You see an old man, you think easy target. But every person has a story. Every person has fought battles you can't imagine. Jack stood up, pointed to the photos on the wall. These men, he said, my brothers in arms. Some didn't make it home. Some came home broken. But all of us, we served something bigger than ourselves. Oh, what you 3 did tonight, Jack continued. You took the easy path. You saw someone you thought was weak, and you tried to take advantage. Kevin hung his head. We're sorry, sir. Sorry isn't enough, Jack said, but it's a start. Police sirens echoed outside. You have a choice now, Jack said. You can continue down this path and it will destroy you, or you can choose to serve something bigger than yourselves. He looked at Tyler. How old are you, son? 19. Same age I was when I enlisted. You know why I joined the Marines? Tyler shook his head. Because I was angry, lost, looking for trouble, just like you. Officer Martinez and Officer Johnson knocked on the door. Jack opened it. Evening, Jack, Martinez said. The neighbors knew Jack. Evening, officers, 3 intruders, all secured in the living room. The officers entered, saw the 3 young burglars. All looked calm, all looked remorseful. Anyone hurt? Johnson asked. No injuries, Jack said. Just some trespassing and attempted burglary. Martinez looked at Jack. You handled this yourself? Jack smiled. Old habits die hard. As the officers prepared to arrest the burglars, Jack intervened. Officers, I'd like to make a request. What's that, Jack? These boys made a mistake, a big one, but they're young. If they're willing to do community service, learn from this experience, maybe we can avoid destroying their futures. Tyler, Kevin, and Danny were surprised. Jack was protecting them. You serious, Jack? Martinez asked. Dead serious. Everyone deserves a second chance. I got mine when I was their age. 3 weeks later, Tyler, Kevin, and Danny stood in front of Jack's house. But this time, not for burglary. As part of community service, they would tend Jack's garden, paint his house, help elderly neighbors. Ready for this? Jack asked, opening the door. Yes, sir, Tyler said. The first day was hard. The 3 young men were full of shame. But Jack was patient, understanding. You know, Jack said while cleaning the garden together, Marines have a saying, once a Marine, always a Marine. It means the values stay with you forever. What values? Kevin asked. Honor, courage, commitment, and most importantly, taking care of each other. Days passed. Jack shared his stories with the 3 young men. They also talked about their own struggles. Tyler had no father. Kevin's family was financially struggling. Danny couldn't afford college expenses. "You know what you three need?" Jack said one day. "What?" Danny asked. "Direction, purpose, something to serve." Jack showed them volunteer programs at the local community center, mentoring children, helping the elderly, neighborhood cleanup. "Service," Jack said. "It changes you, makes you stronger than you think you are." 6 months later, Tyler, Kevin, and Danny had become different people. Tyler was mentoring young children at the local Boys and Girls Club. "Don't make the mistakes I made," he told them. Kevin had found a part-time job, was helping his family. In the evenings, he took classes at community college. Danny had won a scholarship, was studying engineering. Jack had written him a reference letter. "You know what the best part is?" Jack said at the graduation ceremony at the community center. "What?" Tyler asked. "You three teach me something new every day, about forgiveness, about second chances, about hope." Jack took the stage, presented certificates to the three young men. 6 months ago," Jack said, "these three young men made a mistake. They broke into my home, tried to steal from me. But today they're my friends. They're community leaders. They're proof that people can change." The audience stood and applauded. "The Marine Corps taught me many things," Jack said, "but the most important lesson I learned from these three, it's never too late to start over." Today, Jack Thompson is 75 years old. He still lives in the same house, but he's no longer alone. Tyler, Kevin, and Danny visit him regularly. They tend his garden together, attend veterans meetings, work on community service projects. "Jack saved our lives again," Tyler says. "The first night he stopped us, in the months that followed, he showed us the way." Jack no longer hides his story. He speaks at local schools, gives lessons to young people about service and second chances. Strength, Jack says, isn't just physical. Real strength is changing other people's lives. The medals on the wall are still there, but new photos have been added next to them. Jack, Tyler, Kevin, and Danny together at community service projects, at graduation ceremonies. "Military training," Jack says, "taught me how to fight. But these three young men taught me something more important: how to make peace. Real heroes don't just win wars, they also build peace." As the Untold Between Us family, if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like it. If you want to hear more stories of heroes like Jack who give second chances, subscribe. And in the comments, share the life-changing people you know with us. Because real strength is changing other people's lives.